How did you choose which volunteer options you wanted to participate in? Were they convenient for you, your family, and lifestyle? Or were they just the easiest ones you saw on the list? Serving our community has many communication opportunities to build and use the skills we are learning about in this class. I completed 10 hours of community engagement and kept seeing how crucial communication was throughout the experience. Plus, I got to do it with my daughter. We will see how my time volunteering for Letters of Care, animated readers, and playing piano for an assisted living facility challenged me to learn, adapt, and use many different communication skills. I picked my community engagement opportunities based on how they fit into my lifestyle and required varied mediums of communication. The first volunteer opportunity I chose was Letters of Care, since this would challenge me in written communication with strangers, and I could do it with my daughter. I chose to work with Love for Our Elders, and they had some direction for me in the process. They have a monthly rotation of nominated people whose private information and address was protected. Immediately, I realized that it was important to understand my audience. It was key for me to write in script, opposed to cursive, and large enough that the average elderly person could see it and clearly read it. There was also the realization I had where I needed to write a letter to someone who I didn't know and who didn't know me. I couldn't exactly tell them about my week or ask them questions either. The website was very helpful in providing a short blurb about the individual and their interests. That made it much easier to encourage them and hopefully be a positive part of their day. My daughter and I wrote 10 letters through Love for Our Elders. From writing letters to the elderly, I then oscillated to making videos for children. Animated Readers was a community engagement opportunity I was very excited about because it made me think of how my grandparents and great-grandparents would record themselves reading books for their many faraway grandchildren on tape. My 6-year-old helped me choose what 4 books I would read, since that was the age group I was going to aim for as my audience. For this type of audience, I wanted books that had substance, had a sense of humor, and accommodated their attention spans. These are the books we chose. There definitely was a learning curve in how to record myself as I read the books. I had to do many different tests to get the audio, lighting, framing, and positioning of myself and the books just right. Getting those angles took trial and error. I also needed to get the book close enough so that the pages and pictures were visible for the audience. Multiple videos ended up being recorded at quite a distance before I realized this. This also meant I needed to flip or mirror the image in editing so it wasn't backwards for the viewer. The cadence and pitch of my speech became very important as I began recording, because I had an audience who I couldn't see or get any feedback from as I read. Without that personal interaction, I adapted my voice to be more emotive and dramatic with the story so I didn't become monotone. An advantage I found to this communication medium was that I was able to do over or edit the video as needed. I came away from that experience with video links for my daughter and my nieces and nephews to be able to enjoy for decades. But this next engagement opportunity provided me with the greatest enjoyment and takeaway personally. I was given the opportunity to play piano for and accompany the residents of a local retirement and assisted living facility as they sang. This was something I did over 2 years ago before COVID and was excited to get back to working with these residents after so long. The hurdles of this volunteer experience were mainly related to COVID measures, a varied audience of people, and my own musical limitations if there was a special song request I didn't have the music for. But these were out of my control and didn't stop me from participating as much as I was able. The communication principles I found I used the most were adaptability and confidence. Our textbook says we will need to be ready to adapt to various communication situations, and our skills will help us with this. I found this to be accurate as I considered my platform for communicating to these residents was from behind a piano. I needed to move myself to the front of the stage to speak and project my voice between each song so they could understand me and participate if they chose to do so. I also had to push past the initial feeling of being out of place or awkward in front of strangers and in an environment I wasn't used to. I needed to project confidence and comfortability so that my audience would not feel my awkwardness and be more likely to join in singing along to the songs as I played. In conclusion, every time I visited this facility, I left with more friends and a greater appreciation for these wonderful people. We got to see how my time volunteering for Letters of Care, animated readers, and playing piano for an assisted living facility challenged me to learn, adapt, and use many different communication skills. These 3 different community engagement opportunities were not only great ways to hone my communication skills, they were an easy fit into my life and so enjoyable and rewarding to be an active member of my community as well.